this is not a particularly compelling capstone because it doesn't really
No.
do anything new. It's just like have some more damage. Okay.
And it's called Death's Friend.
Oh, Death's Friend.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today is another Martial Monday, and we're going to be talking about the rogue subclass, Phantom.
Stab from shadows. Walk through a wall. Hypothetically.
It's not there's not as much walking around in shadows as I wanted from this one. This is that feels like the fantasy I was promised, but instead I got like some loser who tells girls how he was writing poetry in the cemetery, and
It really does feel like a poser of a subclass. Like, this isn't the actual edgelord I want. This is just, Bill, who's super depressed in his teen years. Like, that's not. This isn't.
I mean, that's not to say it doesn't have interesting features. It's just not what I wanted from Phantom.
Yeah, I agree. This option was such a disappointment to me, and I wanted to play something like it that I talked to my friends before he was going to run something. I was like, "Hey, I revised this. Can I play my revised version instead?" And it was really cool because you just move some abilities around, change some numbers, and it stops being not great. But where it currently stands, there are some major problems that I've seen now. I've had two people that I've seen take Phantom, and after 5 sessions, be like, "Hey, can I switch subclasses? This sucks."
I want to be a mastermind now.
Oh god, no, they want to be Arcane Trickster. They always switch to Arcane Trickster. So Phantom came out in Tasha's, I think. It might have come out sooner than that, and it got reprinted in Tasha's, I don't remember. It gives you 2 features at 3rd level, so it gives you Whispers of the Dead. So when you choose this archetype at 3rd level, echoes of those who have died cling to you. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you gain 1 skill or tool proficiency of your choice. As a ghostly presence shares its knowledge with you, you lose its proficiency when you use this feature again to pick a different proficiency you lack. I hate these features so much.
You don't like? See, this is the one I thought, oh, this is interesting. Why do you hate this?
It's the same reason I hate a lot of the you learn temporarily a skill things. We talked about skill. It's not skill empowerment, but one of the cleric spells that yeah, you're thinking.
Intellect Fortress, was it?
I don't think it's that one, but there's one that you basically learn a skill by consulting
borrowed
the Lord.
knowledge. Borrowed knowledge.
That's the one. Yes.
Yeah.
This is kind of the same thing, but it's worse because you're already a class that has a base 6 skills to start with. So what skills you find you'd want are like things other people are probably doing, because when you're building a rogue, you're often like, well, I got my 4 from rogue, 2 from my background. Do I care about the 7th skill that much?
No, well, see, I'm talking more for proficiencies than skills. Look.
So you pick tools? That's kind of cute. Is it good? It's better that it's kind of like all tool proficiencies. It's skill or tool. Those are the options you get. You don't get to pick saving throws or anything.
All right, never mind.
Otherwise, you just always pick one of the saving throw types.
On this, I did not see tool proficiency there, but yes. I was thinking, like, I'm gonna wear heavy armor today.
That would be kind of fun, and by fun I mean really weird. Just have like you pick any proficiency you want on a given day.
Interesting. Now that I read more carefully, it's less so.
Yeah. Instead, it's just like I want to be a cobbler today, and tomorrow I'll be a glass blower, and the day after that I'll be a herbalist. Can't be herbalism. That's a kit, not a tool. A different one. I will give it this. I think if you want an option that really deeply engages with that system, especially the one that got like amended in Xanathar's or whatever, that has like all the new tool proficiency kit stuffs, this could be a way to do it. Just to be like, I'm gonna sample everything. We're gonna bring a cart around that's just got 2. You're like the living embodiment of ADHD, where you're like, I'm really gonna be a glass blower this week. I got all the supplies, I bought all into it, and then you get halfway through the project and you're like, I'm done with this, I'm a cobbler now. And you just move right through all the different toolkits, and they don't really productively add to your life experience, but hey, sure, you did it. It was fun in the moment.
I mean, we don't need shoes every day, Sam.
Yeah, I know, but it's not that you need shoes. It's just I want to be able to make my own shoes, and then you do that project, and then you're halfway through that project, you're like, this is hard, I want to do something else.
No, I make everybody shoes, and now like we don't need this skill anymore. Now everybody needs their glass blown.
Everyone does need their glass blown. That's true. So third level also gives us wails from the grave. So third level, as you nudge someone closer to the grave, you can channel the power of death to harm someone else as well. This feature, immediately after you deal your sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature that you can see within 30 feet of the first creature. Roll half the number of sneak attack dice roll half the number of sneak attack dice for your level rounded up. The second creature takes necrotic damage equal to the roll's total as wails from the dead sound around them for a moment. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Get them all back when you finish a long rest.
Okay, I'm not so down on this one. I'm pretty sure I understand it correctly.
It's not that complicated. You know how I feel about Toll the Dead, and this is Toll the Dead, the feature. In that, like, oh, the sounds of wailing death makes me die. Like, well, sure, because I shot somebody. I guess. I really am off on the fantasy on this. Mechanically, this feature ends up playing a lot worse than it reads when you realize when you get it, you get 1d6 bonus. Twice per long rest. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh. If I hit somebody twice per long rest, I can do 1d6 extra damage to the secondary target. Not the hit target. It has to be the secondary target.
Yeah. I mean, but it scales.
Yeah, next, at 5th level, it goes to 2d6 bonus damage. And then it's basically every 4 levels after that, you get 1 extra die to the other target, which is not a good rate. And again, the scaling goes up with your proficiency bonus, so you eventually get 6 uses of this if you go the full distance, and then you're just kind of like using it all the time. But then you're doing 5d6 damage, and that hasn't scaled since level 17.
Okay. Not amazing.
No. Wails in the Grave reads cooler than it plays. Then you play with it once, and you're like, well, I don't think I need to use the d6 on that thing, so I'm just going to save it. And then 2 encounters later, you haven't used any of them because you've never found a moment where you're like, where does this d6 damage matter? The answer is you just throw it out as soon as you can most of the time, just because maybe it turns something that would take 2 hits to dying into 1 hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is not a powerful effect throughout most of the game. So, we're not starting in a great spot.
I could see it being cool at first level if you took out 2 goblins with 1 hit.
Yeah, you shoot 1, you do your sneak attack damage plus your dice damage, so you're doing like a d6 plus 3 plus 2d6. That one's taken, quick maths, is like 16, 17 damage. The next one takes 3.
It might take 6.
Might take 6.
Which could kill it.
Yeah, goblins have 7 hit points, right?
Whatever. So it takes down
that was a low
something
blow, I'm sorry.
with what?
That was a low blow, I'm sorry. Yeah, but anyway. Like, yeah, sure. A Vegapygmy or something that's got 3 hit points or whatever.
Yeah.
If a Stiff Breeze could kill it, this can kill it. It is nice. This is a real upside. It can't miss. So once it hits, you can be like, if I half health the goblin, then an actual Stiff Breeze kills it. So you can kind of like cobble together multiple of these where you shoot one thing one round, you shoot one thing the other round, and the combined damage has killed something. Hopefully, if you're doing like goblin encounter. And that's like a lot of things need to go right for that to occur. So there's another really big problem with this, and that's that the spell Green Flame Blade exists. So this does a similar thing. You brandish a weapon that you use for the spell's casting, and it basically does damage to the hit target and then bounces, and that bouncing scales to 2d8 and 3d8 as the game progresses. So, like, and it includes your spellcasting mod, so classes like Arcane Trickster can kind of already get this feature by just taking that as one of their cantrips and using it as their attack action. So, like, if you wanted to do this bouncing damage thing, you could already do that with a better subclass that gives you more things. That's not ideal.
No. I'm trying to think of some other uses, like where you could break somebody's concentration if they're hiding, but now you have to see them, and yeah.
It is a guaranteed hit on the thing that you would want to break concentration on, so if there's like multiple things concentrating on spells, this is 2 concentration checks. Sure. Will that ever come up?
No.
Probably not. 9th level is a feature I love conceptually. It's called Tokens of the Departed. At 9th level, when a life ends in your presence, you're able to snatch a token from the departing soul, a sliver of its life essence that takes physical form. As a reaction, whenever a creature you can see dies within 30 feet of you, you can open your free hand and cause a tiny trinket to appear there, a soul trinket. The DM determines the trinket's form, or it has you roll on the trinkets table in the player's handbook to generate it. Which, if you haven't done anything with the trinket table, everyone deserves trinkets. Put it into 100% of your games. It's my favorite part of playing Dungeons & Dragons. You can gain a maximum number of soul trinkets equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can't create one while you are at your maximum. So you can have a maximum,
Yeah.
and you can't create them while you're at your maximum. But
Right.
there
You have
isn't
to
a limit to the
spend
number you
one or
can create.
yeah.
As long as you destroy them or whatever. Because it also says you can use your soul trinkets in the following ways. When a soul trinket is on your person, you have an advantage on death saving throws and constitution saving throws, for your vitality is enhanced by the life essence within the object. That just becomes a passive boon as long as you don't run out of these things. It also says when you deal sting attack damage on your turn, you can destroy one of your trinkets that's on your person and then immediately use your Whales of the Grave without expending a use the feature. Okay, so then you have a really cool little resource pattern where you're getting trinkets that you're using for more whales, and you already have a base pool of whales, so now you're kind of whaling every single attack. And then finally, as an action, you can destroy one of the soul trinkets no matter where it's located. When you do so, you can ask the spirit associated with the trinket one question. The spirit appears to you and answers in a language it knew in life. It's under no obligation to be truthful, and its answers as concisely as possible, eager to be free. Spirit knows only what it knew in life as determined by the DM.
Yeah.
This is conceptually a really cool ability until you remember you had to kill the person to get this.
I'm not using that one anyway. That's more of that divination nonsense that I don't like.
It's a speak with dead option. That's literally just what this is a third of speak with dead. I love that.
Yeah.
But you're just going to use it to spam Wells of the Grave like you're supposed to?
Well, I'm gonna hold on to that the first one, yeah. But
this ends up playing a lot clunkier than it reads. In that you have to be within 30 feet of the target to be able to steal the soul. So, like, and you were kind of wanting to be at range and bouncing within 30 feet of, like, enemies in 30 feet of each other. Now you have to be in that mix too to be able to get more resources. So this does encourage some risk reward. The payoff is just more uses of your first feature though. And the first feature is still not that exciting at 5th level. Like at 5th level, you're getting 2d6 bonus damage extra around.
even if you can squeeze out infinite uses of it, however, that first point you made, yes, the secondary target has to be within 30 feet of the first target, but that's not the one that's going to die anyway. If you're going to kill anybody, it's going to be the first one. So
yeah,
stay within 30 feet.
Other fun fact: if you're against a single creature, this doesn't have text.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer. If creatures are within outside 30 feet of each other, no text.
So that's when forced movement comes into play.
Push things into each other, so they're within 30 feet, so you can get a Whales of the Grave trigger.
There.
I really wish that the soul had to be truthful. I really wish that this could be a better reconnaissance tool than it is. It's still neat and interesting, and it does give them both an out-of-combat option for utility-wise and a little improvement to combat. Like, it's a really little improvement to combat, but it is an improvement. So, you know, that's something. Advantage on one save type is pretty good. I'm not thrilled, but this is a feature, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Back to Whales of the Grave for a second.
Sure.
All right. The damage on the secondary target. How does that come into play with something like let's say Sanctuary, or which one was it, Resilient Sphere or Indestructible whatever? Which one blocks out magic? Or
If so like if they were in let's just say like an anti-magic field. Right? That's the question is does this affect them if they're an
any
anti-magic
kind of
field?
thing that blocks attacks or magic or whatever. Because this magic?
This game is dumb. So like in the reality of the world, this is magical effect, right? This is you're causing, because mechanically all that's happening is you're damaging the thing. That's all that's happening mechanically. Thematically, what's happening is Whales of the Dead are barraging their brain and they're taking damage from it. But it's not, it's necrotic damage. So it has to be magical. So I would say,
I don't know that it has to be magical. I mean, it's perhaps difficult to explain by
this. It's paranormal. Is it magic?
Paranormal. There you go.
This is paranormal, not magical.
Yeah, magical.
Are those things different?
Yes. Magic is, in the realm of science in this world. Paranormal.
If it ever comes up, Google it, and you won't find an answer because it's never come up. My house ruling, this is magical and doesn't damage into anti-magic fields. Then again, they could use the bone, so sure, why not? There
What
are like this
about
goes through walls and
Sanctuary?
stuff for what it's worth, as long as you can see the target, right? Yeah, as long as you can see
Yeah,
the target, you can hit it with this. So
but Sanctuary.
they just takes the damage, so you're not attacking it or anything. So Sanctuary doesn't care at all. It just goes, oh, this creature, even if it's got a Sanctuary on it, takes this damage.
Okay.
Doesn't
So
care about their
there's that.
AC, the saves, they just take the damage. It is guaranteed damage, which is notable, right? Guaranteed damage is something. Although it's like guaranteed damage on a secondary target, so it's
Yeah.
less good. Um,
You know, if my DM tells me, all right, guys, prepare this campaign. Like half your enemies are going to be sanctuaried. I'm playing Phantom Rogue every time.
you're gonna regret that. But okay.
That's
If half your
speaking of
enemies
something that's never going to happen.
yeah, fair enough. You're right. You're right. Ghost Walk is our 13th level feature. If we're allowed to move on, you can phase
Yes, go ahead.
partially into the realm of the dead, becoming like a ghost. This is the reason I want to play Phantom, for what it's worth. As a bonus action, you assume a spectral form. While in this form, you have a flying speed of 10 feet. You can hover, and attack rolls have disadvantage against you. You can also move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but you take a D10 force damage if you end your turn inside a creature or object. Unlike other effects, it doesn't shunt you out, so it just deals you the damage.
Okay.
Which means you can hide in walls if you have enough hit points.
Or in a dragon's neck.
Sure. You can use stay in this form for 10 minutes or until you use a bonus action to end it. To use this feature again, you have to finish a long rest or destroy one of your soul trinkets as part of the bonus action used to activate Ghost Walk.
This is why you want to play Phantom?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? I mean, etherealness is a spell.
Yeah, this is Etherealness on a non-caster. That's a 7th level spell, and this is a 13th level feature. For the first time in history, we have a 1-to-1. A martial class gets a feature that's of a relevant tier. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd just rather be the caster with etherealness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
When I reworked this, I moved this to their first level, but it was you could for a turn walk through walls, and you got a number of uses of it. This iteration has some problems. Namely that like there isn't much reason not to be in the ghost form all the time because attack rolls have disadvantage against you, and you can really easily refresh it. So like, yeah, you just are now kind of getting this passive, everything is disadvantage on attack rolls against me, and I can shoot things and everything is fine. I'm still a regular person, but I can also walk through walls when I need to. So you have like, if you're in dungeons, you have this play pattern of, oh, I walk through the door, I wait, it's my turn, I walk back through the door, shoot them, walk back through the door. And then you kind of have this little barricade that's always there for you. Even if you're stuck in an open space, you can go, okay, ghost walk, everything that disadvantage attack rolls against me, muy bueno.
or cast blink.
That doesn't do it every round. That does it randomly.
No.
Sometimes you'll appear and instantly die. This just
Yeah.
goes, everyone has disadvantage attack rolls against me always, and I get to pick if I want to be in the room or not.
Yeah. This is
This is
not
a really
why
powerful
I'm being
feature.
Phantom. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, but 13th level, and I don't know. I find it the least interesting so far.
You can walk through walls and fly.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
go
yeah.
three-dimensional space, and like, if you were telling me what a phantom is supposed to do, I would say these are the assassins in the night that no one knows how they got in, but someone was murdered in a locked room in their sleep. That is what this gives you.
Yes, and if everything else built up to that, I might be more excited about it. But
Welcome to the party kind of does. Listen, just because Whales of the Grave is dragging everything else down doesn't mean this doesn't get to be still a unique, cool feature. This doesn't interact with Whales of the Grave all that well, or at all, actually.
I still
I
think
can't.
Whales of the Grave is the most fun. All
It's
right, maybe
2d6
this is fun.
damage to one
I
thing.
know,
Like, okay, sure. How is that
I
giving you
know.
the fantasy of this at all? Right?
No, it's not.
Ghost Walk is the first. I guess Tokens of the Parted is close because you're like stealing souls and you have them on you and you're like using them in some cool ways. Ghost Walk is the first time you actually like get the big feeling of being a phantom.
Yeah.
I think at least. Our 70 level feature is Death's Friend, which is not a metal enough name to cap off Phantom. At 17th level, yeah,
Hey,
it's just
pal.
it's actually just called Death's Friend. At 70th level, your associated with death has become so close this really just is like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Like, you and Death are besties. You get the following benefits. When you use Whales of the Grave, you now deal necrotic damage to both the first and second creature. So now you're kind of like getting a whole extra pile of sneak attack damage to just have on one, half on the other. Okay. And at the end of a long rest, a soul token appears in your hand if you don't have any. Not really anything new, but it is a big jump in damage. And by saying a big jump, it's a quarter of your total. Like, you were doing a 1.5 your sneak attack damage. Now you just do 2 times your sneak attack damage. Because you're going to be using Wells of the Grave every single attack.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay.
I have an important question. Do I have to have a target within 30 feet to use Wells of the Grave at all?
I think so, right?
Immediately after you deal damage to attack to a creature in turn, you can target a second creature. Yeah, if there's not a second creature within range, you still can't get the bonus damage if you want it. If you're against a Kraken, you're probably not going to be able to get a second thing within 30 feet of it, huh? So this just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Bummer. Yeah, this is not a particularly compelling capstone because it doesn't really do anything new. It's just like, have some more damage. Okay.
And it's called Death's Friend.
Oh, Death's Friend.
Yeah.
It doesn't
you know
even
what it
feel
reminds
like...
me of? Did you see Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
I know. I can picture the man's face. I've seen the poster, but I have not seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
There's a motorcycle gang there called the Satan's Helpers.
Yeah. 100%. Yes.
God,
So,
you really need to see that.
Oh, noted. I'll put it on the list along with 3 Amigos. So this whole option, I think, really boils down to Whales of the Grave playing a lot worse than it reads and being a very underwhelming feature. And like, it tells you one thing and then does bonus necrotic damage to a bounced target. And that is kind of the entire class's gimmick outside of Ghost Walk, right? Like, every element of this class is trying to get you more whales from the grave, right? And they're not really improving it all that much up until Death's Friend, where it's doubling the damage, like letting you double dip on both targets. But prior to that, it's just like, okay, I do 3d6 damage to this thing in the mid tiers. I do that every round, hopefully. Okay. I have way more uses of this than I can ever need, and Tokens of the Departed is a cute little flavor thing.
Whales of the Grave, it's got the limitations with the distance and the number of times you can use it for not that powerful an effect. So either make it more powerful or strip it of limitations. So then we get to Tokens of the Departed. You can
have a real
do one or the other, like give me more uses of something that's already powerful, or empower the thing that already has limited uses. Then we're getting something.
The other big problem, like, is there's not any real, like, this option doesn't have a whole lot of interesting decisions to make, even though it tries to trick you into saying it does. Yeah. Basically, all you're going to do is bank as many tokens of the Departed as you can, and you're always going to have one, and you're always going to, as long as you have 2 or more, you are using one of them on a Whales from the Grave constantly. And then maybe you have some push and pull with, well, I need Ghost Walk for 10 minutes, but if you're ever, like, if things are dying round after round, you're just going to restock immediately back to your max proficiency bonus, or your max proficiency bonus, right? And you probably are just always going to spend the Whales from the Grave proficiency bonus uses first. So we need, like, 10 rounds of combat for you to maybe run out of Whales from the Grave that are going to be getting refreshed anyway. So you're, like, you're never going to be tight on resources any way, shape, or form, which is going to make all these features feel like, oh, I just always do all of this. So I don't really understand why they're not at will. Like, if it's already going to do that, if it's already going to play as a very close to at-will ability, just write it that way, save some text, and give other interesting space to, like, cool new features, as opposed to just, I do more of the damage bounce thing.
Yeah.
The design of this really warps my brain.
I did think of, I might use the tokens of the Departed for the question, the Speak with Dead. I'll use it once. I'll ask him, how's your head, asshole?
That is a genuinely great little flavor thing, though, right? Like, this is a really cute option that can play well at a lot of tables as far as that little line of text. That's genuinely the most exciting line of text I think that entire section has. And then after that, it's a battery for your other 2 features. And I love Ghost Walk, but it happens way too late for it to be, like, delivering on the fantasy at that point. And I don't get Whales from the Grave at all as far as the thematic goes. Like, I shoot a goblin in the chest, who then echoes out his death wails before he dies to do bonus damage to this other goblin? What's happening here? Are the dead just really angry that I'm killing somebody else, so they're helping me kill more people? What is this
Yeah,
flavor?
I don't know.
Right?
They're not angry. They're like, oh yeah, more dead. Let's help them out.
They're just frat bros, and they're all coming around and be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they just like are so loud, they're beating people's heads in with how excited they are for you killing people.
Maybe.
Yeah, I really think this option is close, but is I think Whales to the Grave as a core feature would probably need overhauled, at least in the thematics. Like it needs to do or be something different than it is for me to really believe this is happening for a Phantom and me to be happy taking it. Even if I'm playing this just for the mechanical boons, I'm not impressed. It is fine. It'll do some bouncing damage. If you can use Whales from the Grave, do it. But like at level 3, it feels pretty trash. At level like 9, it starts to be like, okay, so I just always do this now. And then finally level 13, you go, oh, I have cool class features now. It just took me a while to get there. And before that, I had some cute little trinkety effects and a really small smidge up in damage.
See?
Yes, he sounds right.
All right. Well, that was the Phantom Rogue. All right. It didn't bring me back on rogues as much as I wanted, but it was a hell of a pickup from Inquisitive and Mastermind.
And Assassin. Let's not leave that one out of the mix. That one is
Yeah,
also
but
problems.
Assassin could do one thing well, like really well, occasionally.
This can do 4 things mediocrely, or sorry, 1 thing mediocrely 4 times, just whales, and has a cool feature in Ghostwalk that I put
Yeah.
next to Assassin Data as like, oh yeah, this is just good.
All right. Well, there it is. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let us know what you think down in the comments. That's Phantom Rogue. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.